Goswami Maharaj once told that crisis is the optimal time for the spiritual life.
That what is?
That crisis is the optimal time for the spiritual life. And how can we start and proceed if you are well and wealthy and not have this renounced mood like Raghunath Goswami? So, question is, if you are well and wealthy, then how to keep spiritual consciousness like in crisis time?
And like in which time? Oh, in crisis time.
Like in crisis time, yes.
Well, what comes to mind is the example of Ambarish Maharaj. That's Savai Manakrishna Padaravindayo Bachamsi Vaikunta Gunarnavarnane Karo Harer Mandira Marjanardishu Shrutim Satkara Kashat Katodaye Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drisho, etc. His example is unique in that normally a king is ruling a kingdom and deputing others to do puja, seva, harikatha, pat kirtan, like that. But in the case of Ambarish Maharaj, he deputed all of his kingly duties to others, and he engaged his mind always in thinking of Krishna, his speech in glorifying Krishna, cleansing the temple, worshipping the deity. He did all those things. He inverted the position. So it's a question of perspective. As we mentioned, Guru Maharaj is telling us that adversity may be impetus for remembrance of Krishna, given in the example of Kunti. Vipadak-shantu tak-shasvat tatra tatra jagad-guru bhavato darshanam yatsad apunar bhava darshanam. She's giving her own example, that when she and the Pandavas were placed in dangerous situations, at that time they felt the inner necessity to appeal to Krishna, to take full shelter of Krishna. Bhakti Vinod's rendering Sharanagati, Doinya Atmani Vedam Goptritve Bharan Rakshashatiti Vishvaso. They can be sequenced differently, but here he puts Doinya in the initial position. And that can be described variously, but one way to understand it is a type of hopelessness. Right? Realizing that in the egocentric world that I've created, not only can I not help others, I can't really substantially help myself. So that leads one to consider help from beyond oneself. Move from egocentricity to theocentrism. Adao Guru Vashaya, to take shelter of Guru, Krishna's next nearest agent. So, from the point of view of Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, he says, Vishvam Purna Sukhayate. He sees the world as filled with never-ending happiness, because he's in deep Krishna culture. Right? That world, in opposition to that, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanu darshanam. This is the way to view the world. It's a never-ending series of humiliations for the eternal soul to be faced with the prospect of death, to age, to get diseased, and at last to die. So, an intelligent person can see beyond the normal ebb and flow of karmic activity, where there's sometimes in a, the word I think used was wealthy position, sometimes deprived of wealth. It's the nature of material existence. So they're not deluded by periods of opulence. They know that's a false shelter. Where we hear in the Prahlad Charit, Nate vidu sartagadami Vishnu durashaye bahir artamanina andaya tandar bhagiyamana tibishatantam tantram urudam nibadha. Nate vidu swa artagatim hi Vishnu durashaya ye bahir artamanina. Points to people who think that the substantial thing is in the external. So there's no external situation that one can take shelter of that will insulate them from the miseries, birth, death, old age, and disease. They're saying they don't realize the real substantial thing is to be gained internally. So the world, in one sense, considering these various conditions, is always in a state of crisis, whether it's for us individually or not. Just as every day we hear the news. So a thoughtful person, they hear the news of the world. And what is the news of the world? Basically, a report on varieties of suffering. How people are suffering in horrible circumstances in different places. Then someone will be thankful, oh, my situation is not so as bad as that. You know, momentarily. But seeing what's going on in the world should be a reminder. The worldly existence is in a constant state of crisis for the soul. And if we're not feeling that at the moment individually, inevitably we'll have to deal with it. As Guru Maharaj reminds us in the beginning of the chapters of Search for Sri Krishna, knowledge above mortality, dealing with the mortal world. We're immortal subjects trying to navigate mortal existence. Inevitably, there will be a clash there. Because even if you find a situation that's affluent, what is Krishna saying? Anityam asukam lokam. You're in a temporary, miserable world. So whatever affluence you have will not insulate you from suffering. Like when we were in Moscow recently, it's famous for traffic jams. Some of them, a short distance can take hours. And it just occurred to me, as I'm looking at the cars, the modern day affluent Russia allows certain citizens to drive in Bentleys and the latest Porsche and really high-end expensive cars. but next to the man in the Bentley, is a comrade in a lowly Lada, but they're in the same traffic jam. It's not that, I'm in a Bentley, there's a special lane for me, I don't have to deal with it. No, everybody's sitting there, inching along. They're suffering. So just a crude example, but a simple example, how wealth does not insulate you from suffering. And if one thinks it does, they're, seriously deluded. I think it's in the 5th canto, with Parikshit Maharaj asking varieties of questions about why is it that, what compels someone to commit sinful activity, even if they know intellectually it's undesirable, they know from experience there's undesirable outcome in the form of suffering karmic reactions. What compels one to do that? And then to the subject of sinning and atoning is brought up. To commit some sinful activity, to atone for that in a relative state of purity again. And he said, is this not like the bathing of an elephant? Manye kunjara sochavat. And you can see here, Chang, right? The elephants of Thailand. Like all elephants, they go in the water and bathe very nicely. As soon as they come out of the water, they pick up dirt and throw it all over their bodies. Like the way some people, after bathing, they put on like talcum. The elephants take dirt and throw it all over their bodies again. So the implication being that really, if spiritual intelligence has been awakened, that even if the circumstances are good, should prompt one to engage in Krishna culture. So is it Jamuna Charja or Kulashekar, this Bhavantam Evanucharam Nirantara Prasada Nishesha Manoratantara? No, what am I thinking? Another one. Krishna, I think it's Kulashekar. Krishna Tadiya Parapankaja Banjarantam Adyeva Vesatume Manasa Raja Hangsa Pranat Pranam Samaye Kapabata Pittai Kantavaro Danavido Smaranam Kutaste. He is intelligently thinking, at the time of death, those circumstances, the bodily situation, the senses, the kapabitabayo, the elements disordered, the bodily situation may overwhelm one to the point of his being unable to use his mind to think about Krishna. So he says, now, while I'm relatively healthy, let me engage my mind in thinking of you. Manasa Raja Hangsa. Let the swan of my mind take shelter in your lotus feet, or in the hearing and chanting of your glory. So it's not that we should wait for some crisis, but one economist said, he said, only a crisis, real or perceived, is capable about bringing substantial change. So we see, in one sense, in the lower section, that what we told before, Chatur Vidha Bhajanti Mam Jana Sukritin Ordina Arto Jigasar Artarti Gyani Chabharatarshava. Certain group of people realizing that material existence is a never-ending source of perplexity and humiliation, they feel compelled to cultivate themselves spiritually. But otherwise, opulence can be a distraction. I think it's mentioned by Jiva Goswami with regard to Svargaloka, the heavenly planets, saying the hellish planets are for suffering. Heavenly planets are for enjoyment. He's saying, so really the optimal position to be in is in the human situation, where there's alternating amounts of suffering and enjoyment. They will be more inclined to take the spiritual culture. And the heavenly planets, due to excessive enjoyment, they're not feeling so much necessity. So the Bhagavatam, Narada, to be asked, Tasyeva hetu prayate tu kovido, nalabyate yat brahmatam uparyada. Better to use your energy in cultivating that which you could not obtain wandering the length and breadth of the universe. Means spiritual culture in general and Krishna culture in particular. Any other question?
Regarding this question,
Yeah.
is it something that should be cultivated specially? That
Is what something?
Understanding of mortal nature of this mortal nature of this world, or have we concentrate on spiritual life and it will naturally develop in our consciousness?
Well, both. How else are we to interpret what we hear every day in the news? To ignore that. That's what Yudhisthira Maharaj said was astonishing. Kim ascharja atakparam. What's more astonishing than this? Ahani ahani bhutani gachantiha jamalayam. That every day, the gates of the Lord of Death are full. Right? Everyone before us has died. Everyone around us is dying. Like recently I mentioned, and someone looked it up, that according to, like if you search it on Google, how many people have lived, how many human beings have lived from a mundane estimation in the world? It's something like 110 billion, right? And there's like, 7 or 8 billion right now. But they say, and the sum total of human history that they're able to verify, they say 110 billion people. Right, so we're living right now. That means roughly 100 billion people before us have died. Right? Not one of them, is around to contradict us. So, and certainly, and around us, every day we hear the news of so many people dying in unfortunate circumstances, natural disasters, disease, war, and many accidents, many varieties of ways. You think that's the news of the world, is death. Right? And so everyone around us is dying. He said, what is more astonishing than this? That still we're thinking, not me. When the plane goes down, it won't be my plane. When this percentage of the people get this particular disease, I'm in the percent who did not get the disease. So still, this is Maya, illusion, somehow making us think that even though we're peripherally aware of these things, that I'm okay. It won't happen to me. But we know in our finer moments and with our intellect that it's possible. And not only possible, but inevitable. One day we will also be join that group. So, but it's like the sloka, Shrutim Itare Smritim Apare Bharatamanye Bhajant Bhavabhita. What triggers that sloka is Raghupati Upadhyay saying, to get away, bhava here means material existence. In fear of inevitable mortality, this sends people in search for a solution to this problem. One group of people looks to science and technology to solve this inevitable problem. Another group, they're searching the scriptures. Right? Some religious system, some theistic system that's promising immortal life, eternal life. Saying that's why there was this famous American comedian from a long time ago, and he was a notorious drunkard, womanizer, everything, and atheist type. But in his old age, they saw him reading the Bible, and his friends were very surprised. He said, "Why are you reading the Bible?" And he said, "I'm looking for loopholes." You understand what a loophole means? Induleka, do you know how to translate that? A loophole, like in a contract, something where a way out. So they said, "Why are you reading the Bible?" Thinking all these karmic reactions are about to come crashing down on me, so I'm looking for some way out. So that's what Raghupati Upadhyay is saying to Mahaprabhu. They're basically looking for a way out to escape impending mortality. So that's why they're listening to the Shruti. Right? That's why there's so much, with all due respect, and we bow to our worshipable brethren in India, but so much of religious performance in India is motivated in this way, to try and escape mortality and karmic reactions and life, the world, etc. And to become liberated from that. Why so many people go to the Jagannath Rath Yatra? Because they've heard somewhere, if you have Jagannath Darshan, that you'll be liberated. So, and not to say everyone, but the majority. And if someone thought this was a harsh analysis, it's the same analysis in Mahaprabhu's teachings, the Rupa Goswami, right, where he talks about the Vedavadaratas, the people who give lip service to the Vedas. He's saying there's no real substantial spiritual culture going on there. So Raghupati Upadhyay mentioned that. That's why they're listening to the Shruti, they're examining the Smriti, the Puranas, the Mahabharata, to try and deal with this inevitable problem. That's what's pushing people in this direction. And in the direction of whom? The Parabrahma. So they're saying, how do I connect with him who can liberate me from the mess I've created karmically and the inevitability of mortality that faces everyone in this world? Interestingly, his response is, Ahangi ha nandam bande yashalande param brahma. But what's captured my imagination is that para-brahma, God, that everyone wants to connect with to save themselves. He's crawling in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. He's a plaything in the hands of the Braja Gopis. What are they doing that has this effect upon him? So he's leapt in a giant leap from all of this sort of scriptural advice. He's summed it up, the Shruti, the Smriti, the Purana, the Mahabharata, and he's transferred our attention to Raga Bhakti, spontaneous love, devotion, affection towards that para-Brahma. And that he used para-Brahma, it's almost comical, has a hint of a humorous element there. They say, the para-Brahma, you think, so big, so great. He's crawling in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. That's captured my imagination. And this also captures the attention of Mahaprabhu. He says, this is very tasteful, what you've just told me. Imagine that. We know sometimes we see representations of the Vedic literatures in forms of walls of books. Sometimes we would hear, what is it? Which Purana I'm trying to think? The Bhrigu Sangita, is huge, and so many books they're huge. There's walls of Vedic literature. In one half of a sloka, he has summarized them all and shown the superiority of Raga Bhakti. That's why the perspective of the devotee is unparalleled. And there's no substitute for this type of realization. He just saved us and everyone so much time. So here, he's given recognition to that world of mortality and all you can describe about it. He's saying, yes, the para-Brahma, he can give you relief from that. You need some connection with him? Then what would she do? Well, what's Nanda Maharaj doing? And more than that, Nanda Kim Akarod Brahman, Shreya Eva Mahodayam, Yashodaba Mahabhaga, Papo Yasyastanam Hari. Then he goes, and who is, this is back in the Bhagavatam, Nanda, that fortune he speaks of is so great, but Yashoda's more fortunate if we can, Yashodava Mahabhaga, greater fortune, and that Krishna's sitting on her lap, sucking her breast. This is inconceivable. This is Krishna conception. Immediately you're taken into another world. Jnane priyasamudapasana manta eva. Leave your mind at the door. Leave your mind and intellect at the door. It won't be helpful here. Just hear about great devotees from great devotees. And quickly, they've taken you into that, seamlessly, painlessly, taken us out of the mortal world into this other divine atmosphere where the para-Brahman is sitting on the lap of Mother Yasoda, sucking her breast. So when Raghupati Upadhyay is speaking like this, quoting these slogans, Mahaprabhu is enjoying this like anything. And says, any more you can say? This taste is so wonderful. Could you say something more? Like with Ramananda. Iho hoy age kahoar. Go deeper. Like we told, why we like this. Dive deep into reality. First of all, it's from Guru Maharaj. And it's original. As most things from Guru Maharaj are, they're original. It's an original expression, and it's very beautiful. Reality, dive deep into reality. Mahaprabhu goading Ramananda, go further, go deeper. Same with Raghupati Upadhyay. Can you say something more? And what does he say? Very sweetly, very beautifully. Oh, if I could, is there anyone qualified to hear it? And if we could find someone qualified to hear it, would they believe me? So he's implying, yeah, there is more to say, but there's some qualification to hear that and to believe that. Again, in 3 slokas, it's amazing what he covers. So here we have an allusion to Vikriditam idam brajavaduviridam javishnu shradhanvato anushvanayad atavarnayedyak. These are not trifling matters. Say, shradhanvato, yeah, no, I'm faithfully hearing, yes, tell me. Not like that. What does it mean? Dive deep into reality and a deeper plane, a deeper level of faith. So, saying, yes, there's more to say. Kam prati kathayitam ishe samprati pratitam. Kam prati Gopati tanaya kunje gopa viduti bitam brahma. And that Param Brahma, I told you earlier, was crawling in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. Well, that is his Kumar Lila, Nanda Kumar, Nanda Nandan, son of Yashoda, and Nanda Maharaj, Nanda Yashoda. But then he has the position, he's a sweet, dynamic absolute. His Poganda Lila, he has, as he grows older, pastimes with the cowherd boys that are astonishing. It's mentioned in the Bhagavatam, is it? Itam sukam sukhanubhutya dasam gatanam paradevatena mayasritanam naradarakena sarvahya sakyam vrijahu krita punya punya. I forget this sloka, very favorite to Prabhupada. They're saying, same kind of astonishment. Krita punya punya. Right? What did these boys do that they can play with Krishna in the forest of Vrindavan, in the upper hemisphere of the spiritual world, Goloka? How did they achieve that position? This is being asked in the Bhagavatam. Perhaps it was Parikshit Maharaj. He's astonished to hear of the level of intimacy of the pastimes of Krishna and the cowherd boys. As we hear normally, he's described as Yagyabhuk. He only eats the remnants of sacrifice. What is sacrifice to him? That means with Vedic rituals, the fire sacrifice, chanting so many mantras, it's a big performance. Yagyabhuk. Right? When they're saying Brahma, who has some familiarity, thanks. But that who normally only eats from yajna, he's sitting on the banks of the Jamuna with his cowherd boyfriends, and they're having lunch together. How do you go from that? All this reverent, the supreme God, the supreme entity, everyone's, and then you see he's sitting there in the garb of a cowherd boy with a stick between his waist, a bamboo flute. He has some food in his left hand, he's eating, laughing and joking with his friends. They're having lunch pastimes together. So, sometimes we hear, how enviable is the position of the cowherd boys? That the Braja Gopis, that's one of their fantasies. They're thinking, we don't get to see Krishna during the day, so if we could be cowherd boys, then we could be with Krishna in the daytime and participate in his pastimes. But Raghupati Upadhyay told Mahaprabhu that para-Brahma And who I told you crying in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, who later, when he grows up, Poganda has his pastimes with the cowherd boys. In his Kishore, his teenage years, and his pastimes with the Braja Gopis, he is, who could I tell and who would believe me that the Param Brahma is chasing after the Gopi girls and the Kunja, the bushes in Vrindavan. And Srila Guru Maharaj wrote an article in Gaudiya Math publication in South India, in which he said this alludes to or implies that before your appearance, it's an encrypted reference to Mahaprabhu in a sense. Before your appearance, there's no one qualified to hear this, what to speak of to believe in this in a substantial way. But now that you've appeared, that is the gift of Mahaprabhu. Namo Mahavaranaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namaha. It's Krishna Prem. Right? And that still is a general term. What type of Krishna Prem? Radha Bhavaduti Subalita. Jari Gorna Hoita Taviki Hoita Kamari Daritam Dehe Radhar Mahima Prema Rasasima Jagata Janata Ke. He's revealing not only Krishna Bhakti or Krishna Prem, the type of love and devotion the intimate associates of Krishna have. Nanda, Yashoda, the cowherd boys, but Radha Bhav, the, what does it say? Hladini, what is that? Hladini Sar, Prem, Hladini Sar, Prem Sar, Bhav, yeah. Hladini Sar, Prem, the cream of Hladini, the essence is Prem, Hladini Sar, Prem Sar, the essence is Bhav, and Bhav taken to its highest degree is Mahabhav, the most intense love for Krishna, highest in quality and quantity. That is Mahaprabhu's gift. Then he asked him, what in your opinion is the supreme form of the Lord, the supreme abode of the Lord, the supreme age, and the supreme rasa? To which he says, Shyama eva param rupam. Shyama Sundar, Krishna as Gopavesh, as the cowherd boy. Shyama eva param rupam. Puri Madhupuri vara. And Puri, Mathura means we're transcending Vaikuntha and birth pastimes and beyond. Mathura, Vrindavan, Govardhan, Radhakunda. And which age is best? I don't know, Kumar, Poganda, Kishore. Krishna's teenage years. And the supreme rasa, Adya rasa, rasa para. Adi rasa, Madhura rasa. So it's a healthy combination of observing the undesirable aspects of mundane existence. But even Gyanis can do that. That's not exclusive to the bhaktas. But really our emphasis is on Krishna culture proper. Rasovarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. That sort of exposure will give one an experience that diminishes the importance and the influence of the lower mundane experience. Any other question?
Ananda Sundar Prabhu from Khabarovsk is asking, which sampradaya Sri Chaitanya SCSMath is actually belong? Brahma Madhva Gaudiya or
Does who belong to?
Sri Chaitanya SCSMath Math?
Sri Chaitanya SCSMath Math.
Yes. To Sri Brahma Madhva Gaudiya sampradaya or Sri Rupanuga sampradaya?
Well, originally, if you hear, you can look in the songbook, that song, Krishna Hoite Chaturmukha. Where the disciplic succession is described. Saraswati Thakur approved of that song. So we're beginning from Krishna to Brahma. Tene Brahma Hrida. So it's the Brahma Sampradaya. But in time, Brahma and to Veda Vyas. Madhvacharya connects with Veda Vyas, and he is a principal acharya. So then it becomes known as the Brahma Madhva Sampradaya. Then as Srila Guru Maharaj explained in his article called The Pontifical Position of Madhavendra Puri, that Madhavendra Puri is a member of the Brahma Madhva Sampradaya. He acts as a bridge from there to what becomes known as the Gaudiya Sampradaya. Because their conception is really Vishnu Bhakti. There's Krishna, but under the umbrella of Vishnu Bhakti. So, as Guru Maharaj has mentioned elsewhere, Madhvacharya was then able to accommodate the Brahma Vimohan Leela, because it would appear to indicate that the Brahma, the head of the Sampradaya, that he could become bewildered or seduced by Maya, by illusion, is untenable to him. Right? But we say it's Brahma Vimohan Leela. These are pastimes. And actually the Brahma Stuti, the prayers given by Brahma in chapter 14, Chapter 13 is the Brahma Vimohan Leela, 14 the Brahma Stuti, form the basis of so much of Gaudiya preaching. So with the advent of Mahaprabhu, Madhavendra Puri, and this unique dissemination of Krishna Prem that we just described, what is exclusive to Srimati Radharani, that is what makes the line exceptional. Because even Mahaprabhu appears in every Kali Yuga, but not the Radha Bhava Duty Subolita Mahaprabhu, who's enriched, enveloped by the heart and halo of Srimati Radharani, Mahabhav Swarupini. So Madhavendra Puri is the bridge to the Gaudiya Sampradaya, as Guru Maharaj has implied in the name, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat. It's coming, Mahaprabhu's line, coming from Mahaprabhu and his conception, Gaudiya Darshan. From Mahaprabhu to Saraswat means Saraswati Thakur and his followers. So Mahaprabhu, he introduced Srila Rupa Goswami to his devotees and indicated that he was the fit person to inherit his line, right? As he verifies with Swarup Damodar and others. So then, and it becomes known as the Rupanuga line. And Srila Guru means followers of Rupa Goswami. And Guru Maharaj has mentioned, it might be in Brihad Bhagavatamrita or elsewhere, that Sanatana Goswami Prabhu, although revered by Rupa Goswami as Guru, he also considers himself a Rupanuga. So when you say Sri Chaitanya Saraswat, means from Mahaprabhu, and that means Rupa Goswami, Sanatan, Raghunathas, etc., to Srila Saraswati Thakur and his followers. That's the way to properly conceive of this line.
Krishna Prabhu is asking about explanation of logo of our math.
The logo?
Logo, yes. Because Srila Gurudev says that Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math is inside of Krishna's flute. So can you please explain this?
Well, when we first heard Srila Guru Maharaj speak with regard to the disappearance of Sri Guru, of the spiritual master, one of the examples he gave was saying, talking about how guru-centric we are. Is that, and it was from the Puranas. Later I asked him exactly where, and he couldn't supply the reference, but had been told, the guru's like the water, Shisha is like the lotus in the water. When the lotus is situated in the water, sheltered, Sri Guru, Adau Gurvasayam. Adau Gurvasayam. Then Krishna is compared to the sun. The sun nourishes the lotus. Remove the water from the lotus, the Krishna sun burns the lotus. This is the significance of Ashraya Vigraha, being sheltered by the superior devotees, consistent with the teachings of Raghunath Das Goswami, Dashayate mama rusastu rusastu nityam, sakayame mama namostu namostu nityam, to always be under the shelter of superior servitors. That's an allusion, again, to the Rupanuga line. Rupa, Lalita Vishaka, Srup Damodar, Ramananda, Sadgoswamis. So that's depicted in the logo. At the same time, then the flute is there, which is a reference to Radha, Gayatri Murlista Kirtana Danam, Radha Padam Dhimahi, Radhika Madhavasam, Sri Rupanuga Kritimati Guru Gauranga Radha Jitasam. What he means to say is the aspiration of the members of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, and under the guidance of our Guru Varga, and in the Rupanuga line, this aspiration for this service, Radhika Madhavasam, what is it otherwise known as? Radha Dasyam. Saying Gayatri Murlista Kirtana Danam, the flute song of Krishna, Gayatri Murlista Kirtana Danam, Radha Padam Dhimai. It's a reference to Radha Dasyam, or servitorship, in the Rupanuga line. As in Yadamiya Mahima Sri Bhagavatam Katayam Prati Padam Anubhutam Apya Labdavideya Tad Akila Rasamurti Shamalila Avalambam Madhura Rasadi Sri Radha Parapadmam Prapadye. Same thing there in his sloka, and in his Bhakti Vinod Virahadasakam sloka. Sri Radha Parasevanamritamaho Taddatamisho Bhavan. It's consistent all the way across. And Srimad Chaitanya Saraswata Bhara Udgita Kirtir Jaya Srim. Yes, anything else?
Also, Pawan Krishna Prabhu is asking about meaning of shloka, but so Maharaj, maybe you know.
What sloka?
Kṛpāmbudhir yah para-duḥkha-duḥkhī sratanam tam prabhu mashrayami.
Yeah.
Which means, also I was blind and unwilling, he carefully forced me to drink the nectar of devotion mixed with a tingle of detachment. Then question is, what does it mean, this little tinge of detachment?
Well, we don't see that vairagya is a means to devotion. Right? Jnana vairagya. Their target is Brahma. The target of yogis, yoga, is Paramatma. These are general statements. But Krishna, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Shaktiman, Shakti and Shaktiman, Radha and Krishna, their service, we're just describing, Radha Dasyam, this is the target of the higher devotees. So, in the presence of that, or connection with that, automatically renunciation is achieved. Like anashaktasya vishayan yataham upayunjitaha nirbandha krishna sambandhe yukta vairagya muchyate. The Goswamis, they're not performing austerities as a means to attain devotion, but rather we see this level of detachment to the extreme points to how attached they are to Radha and Krishna and Mahaprabhu, Guru, Gauranga, Radha Govinda. That's what we will take from that. And also, not to mislead others. They have this, what we're describing is a liberal policy, how to employ everything in the service of Krishna. But we see themselves, they're leading lives of great detachment. They're not using that as an excuse to live in luxury. Okay? They're saying everything can be used in the service of Krishna. When the Raghunath Bhatta Goswami's wealthy disciple approaches Rupa Goswami for some seva, he doesn't say, well, you know, I don't have a hut even, or a house. You could build me a little house, like you're saying. No, he continues living under a tree or a different tree every few days, and tells him, build a mandir, build a beautiful temple for Govindaji. So we shall always see it in the inverse, that it's a peripheral outcome of how deeply they're absorbed to the point of, what is it? Nidrahara viharaka jibidito chachantu dina chayo. They're sleeping very little. It's not that like, I gotta stay awake. They're so deeply absorbed. He's writing these incredible books that are real-time spiritual substance as he writes them. They're not fantasies. It's not imagination. He's writing reality. And the relish from that is so great. There's minimal necessity for contact with the objective world. It's similar to Guru Maharaj's interpretation in Bhagavad Gita. Madchita madgata prana bodhayantas parasparam katayanchas tamam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So these aren't just poetic words. The devotees are drinking the nectar of, Krishna Katha. Tushyanti. They're tasting some divine nectarine substance that's actually totally nourishing them to the point where there's minimum necessity to take anything from the objective world for sustenance. Much, Tushyanti cha, ramanti cha, means even erotic pleasure comes to them from hearing these pastimes that's not of a mundane quality. So it's beyond what we conceive. So sometimes the words may be misleading. Vairagya. When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya saw the sloka that ended, Samukti Pade Sadayabhak, he changed, no, not mukti, bhakti. And Mahaprabhu goes, why you're, changing words in the Bhagavatam? Because he's saying, the world I come, what mukti means, that's horrible. Mukunda. Krishna's so beautiful. Mukti, which generally is sought after by people, as we said before, to escape inevitable mortality. I want to become liberated, saying, I think it's the most beautiful thing, right? You hear people talking about being liberated all the time and varieties of uses of that. He's saying, Krishna is so beautiful, muku, he makes mukti look ugly. So Sarva, he's like, get this out of the book. Bhakti. Mahaprabhu, that's not necessary. You can just reconceive mukti in another way. So when we hear vairagya, so many stereotypes come to the mind. And we can sing, oh, Das Goswami, the little buttermilk and the leaf cup, that's all he's taking. But he's not malnourished. He's fueled by a superior substance. So that's all he needs from this world to keep the external going. He's not struggling to do this. Right? Again, so it's always based on some interior quality, and this is an outcome of that. Right? Of his interior process. It's hard for us to conceive. And even in that sloka, Vairagya Yug Bhakti Rasa Prayatnai, saying, he's expressing this in a particular way for our edification. He's saying, I misread what this is. Right? So that there was some reluctance, just like people, they have some exposure to Krishna consciousness and think, they're hesitant. They're saying, I was reluctant. But Sanatana Goswami is so merciful, he forced me to drink this. Now I'm relishing this nectarine substance. It's beyond what I conceived. You think, so he's so merciful because his only suffering is to see the suffering of others for want of connection with this substance. That gives a pain to his heart. Otherwise, he's relishing like anything. But if someone was, eating very nicely, a wonderful feast, and they saw nearby someone was starving, you're like, I'm relishing all of this, and they haven't. Give them something. But if in their madness those people perceive that it's something undesirable, that person would be merciful by coaxing them or tricking them in some way to share this substance. So it's something like that, that the genuine substantial devotees, they are relishing like anything Krishna consciousness, and they just, out of their kindness, their kripa, their kindness leads them to be merciful to others. Yena tena prakarena mananivesha Manakrishna niveshayen. So they somehow or other try to redirect our focus. As Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur expresses, Chaitanya Chandramritam, where it says, Dante nidaya trinikam pariorna patya, kritva chakaku ahang etad satam pranimi, he sarva eva, sakala vihaya, durad chaitanya chandra charane kurutanuragan. My dear sir, you're so exalted, so knowledgeable, so generous, so kind. Just grant me this one favor. Yes, what is that? Forget everything you know and turn your attention to the lotus feet of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. That's my request. So the devotees, in charming way, and sometimes the bait, Pujala Raghavat Gaurava Bange, Matala Sarujana Vishairange, the bait to get people inside, the tempt. Means, but with goodwill, right? No malevolence, but with goodwill. Akama sarvakama va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Whatever someone's put, akama, free from desire, moksha kama, desiring liberation, sarvakama, filled with desires, whatever it is, the devotees just have to come. Bring them in connection with Krishna. Right? If Putana got the kind of results that she got from murderous intentions, then what to speak of, if you're just neutral, or better than neutral, favorable. And then different types of favorable. Loving, affectionate, different types of loving, goes on and on and on, ad infinitum. So the devotees are confident, just bring them in connection with Krishna, somehow or other. That's what Parikat Nivrita Tarshaya, there's the word Trishna, Tarsh, thirst again. Tushyanti cha, ramanti cha. He's saying, I'm fasting here for 7 days, not even drinking water. He's saying, but I feel no hunger or thirst. Why? Nivrita Tarshaya, upagiyamana, bhavo shadat shotra manobhiramat. Because I'm drinking this nectar of your talks about Krishna. And I find that hunger and thirst, they've left me. And what does he say? That bhava oshud. Again, that word bhava, like in the Raghupati Upadhyaya slok, material existence. Okay. This is the oshud, the medicine for material existence. And again, like Raghunath, and normally medicine tastes bitter. It's not tasteful, it's unpalatable. You say, this is unique. This is the medicine for material existence, but it's very tasteful and mano abhiram. You know what abhiram means? Beautiful. He's saying like, this is amazing. The cure for this mundane disease is something that's very tasteful and beautiful to the mind and senses. Like, that's too much. It should be painful, right? But it's not. It's very tasteful and pleasing. That's the meaning. Bhavo shadat shrota manobhiramat. Ka uttama sloka gunanuvada. These uttama slokas are not just ordinary things. Krishna's name is Uttama Sloka. That's his name, Uttama Sloka, one of his names. Gunanuvada, the way you're described there. Pumam virajeta, bina pashugnat. He said, who will not appreciate this? Except for, Pashugnat. You can tell that just doesn't sound good. It's translated as animal killer, but it also means, if we go back to what we were discussing before, that sacrificing animals in Vedic rituals to go to the heavenly planets. You think they won't be interested because they're distracted by mundane and the aspiration, the hopes of achieving mundane enjoyment. And he's just saying, this is crazy. This is so tasteful and pleasing, and that's disgusting from this point of view. Like Jamuna Charja, Yadavadi Mama Cheta Krishna Padaravinde, Nava Nava Rasa Damununjata, Rantumasit, etc. Bhavati Vikaram Sushtu Nishtivinam Cha. He's saying, now that I'm tasting this, when I think of what I used to like, it makes me want to... He's saying that. At least we know there's some people like that. That's what's helpful.